The moon hung low over the quiet countryside, casting a pale glow on Lorne Burglekutt's rickety, wood-paneled house. Inside, chaos was brewing. Doug and Lorne had just returned from the Rusty Nail, arms around a couple of women who looked like they'd seen their fair share of neon-lit dive bars. The women, dressed in short skirts and glittery tops, swayed and giggled at Doug's loud, obnoxious jokes as he led them into the living room. "Listen to this, ladies," Doug announced with a grin, barely balancing a beer in one hand. "They say you can tell a lot about a man by the way he paused for dramatic effect and let out a rumbling, theatrical fart that seemed to echo through the room. The women erupted in laughter, half from amusement, half from sheer shock. Lorne, always eager to follow Doug's lead, threw his head back and guffawed, slapping his thigh. "Classic, Doug! You're the king man!" He shot a sideways glance at one of the women, trying to catch her eye with a lopsided grin. She smiled politely, clearly unsure what she'd gotten herself into. The sudden thump of footsteps on the stairs signaled trouble. Nerlin Burglekutt appeared, wide-eyed and jittery, wearing a tattered robe and slippers. His glasses were smudged, and his hands clutched a can of disinfectant spray like a lifeline. "Are you serious?" Nerlin stammered, his voice pitching higher with each word. "This house is not a carnival. I just cleaned the living room, and that—" He pointed an accusatory finger at Doug. "That is unacceptable." "Oh, come on, old man," Doug shot back, slinging an arm around one of the women, who now looked visibly uncomfortable. "Lighten up. You need a drink, some fun, maybe even a—" He paused with a smirk and tilted his head. "A little wind of your own, huh?" Nerlin's face flushed beet red as he sprayed disinfectant wildly into the air, muttering, "No, no, no, no! Not in my living room! Germs! Chaos! And now, strangers!" Before things could escalate further, the front door swung open, and in strutted Marty Guy Farty, with his trench coat swirling behind him and beret cocked at an impossibly arrogant angle. He took one look at the scene, Doug boasting, Lorne trying to puff up like a miniature tough guy, and Nerlin hyperventilating, and snickered. "Oh, how delightful," Marty drawled, eyes sparkling with mischief. "What a display of intellect and decorum. Doug, are you auditioning for the role of worst human being? Because congratulations, you've won." He clapped slowly, the sarcasm dripping from every syllable. Doug's grin faltered, replaced with a scowl. "What do you want, Marty? You're just mad because you're not invited to the party." "Party?" Marty arched an eyebrow and gestured at the women, who had started to exchange nervous glances. This is less a party and more a public service announcement for bad decisions." Lorne puffed out his chest. "Shut up, Marty. No one asked for your input." Nerlin, meanwhile, had backed himself into a corner, muttering under his breath, eyes darting around the room. "This isn't happening. This isn't happening. I'll have to disinfect the whole house. Twice. Maybe 3 times. One of the women finally stood up, straightening her skirt and giving a tight smile. "You know what? I think it's time for us to go," she said, tugging her friend's arm. The two made their way to the door, passing by Marty, who gave them an exaggerated salute. "Smart move, ladies," Marty called out. "You're escaping the zoo before the lions get rowdier." Doug glared at Marty, fists clenching, but before he could say anything, Nerlin burst out. "Everyone out! Out before I lose what's left of my sanity!" He waved his disinfectant can like a battle flag. The room fell silent for a moment before Doug broke into a deep, amused chuckle. "Man, Nerlin, you really need a drink." Nerlin's hand shook as he took a deep breath. "I need new roommates," he muttered, before storming off to his meticulously clean room, the slam of the door punctuating the night.